And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are live again here at Veteran Nation. It's been a little while since you've seen us, and you're going to notice a little bit different of a format to today's show, primarily because it's just me. As you can see, my co host, TC, he's off on assignment, and then also Juan. Normally, who's the man behind the curtain? He is not with us today. He is doing some things for the network. So right now it's just us, and but I do have a great show. As you can see on screen, we have uh, again. I know I'm going to butcher your name, Kahua or
It's Kahana.
Kahanu. Sorry. I
Oh man, and you practiced it too.
I did. Yeah, we practiced before, and I definitely. Oh, there we go. We had a blank screen, but we're good. Uh, but yeah, I practiced it before, and so sorry everyone for all the problems. I am producer. I am doing host. I'm doing it all today. Uh, but so you are on YouTube of Veterans Affairs, and
Correct.
you are documenting problems that you've had with the VA.
Yes, sir.
Now, I've talked about my problems with the VA. We've had other guests who've had problems with the VA. And what I have noticed is we have some similarities.
Correct.
So, if you would, let's start off before we get into that. Let's talk a little bit about your service. What branch were you?
I was in the U.S. Army for 10 years,
Okay.
active duty.
And what job did you have?
I was 15 Juliet. I worked on the OH-58 Deltas. I did avionics, electronics, and the weapon systems.
Okay. And what stations were you primarily at?
Fort Bragg, mainly at Fort Bragg, and then I went overseas to Germany, and I did 2 rounds in Afghanistan.
Okay. Okay. So, uh, I'm an Afghanistan veteran as well. So I would imagine that you have some remnants from that, and that's after you left active duty. That's what brought you into the VA system.
Correct. So I had a little too much fun while I was in service and got hurt, and now I get to play the game of the VA.
And you know, so we talked before the show when you reached out to me. I wanted to know exactly what was going on, but I didn't want to get too far in depth because I do like being able to react naturally on the show. But the stuff that you were telling me, we didn't go really into the weeds, but just what you were giving me, I was like, oh man, I have got to have you on. We've got to talk about this. So um,
Yes.
let's start at the beginning. How did this all start?
A couple years ago, I was at a program over in Menlo Park. It's here in California. There's a VA over there. Spent some time at the trauma unit there, and things just started getting out of hand. There was too many double standards. The guys there and myself, we felt that we were being, in a way, jailed.
Okay.
So it's hard to talk about, but there was a lack of food, lack of hygiene products. My family had to send in hygiene products for the other guys.
Wow.
They didn't even, they basically stored us away, in my opinion, to hide us, and then uh, just threw away the key, just left us there.
So this was
So
inpatient care, like you were there
I was
day and night.
sleeping on campus day and night. Yes, sir. Um, there was a time of quarantine where there was absolutely no human contact except to receive meals and to get your medication. It's just double standards, and this was during the height of the pandemic, and it was the mandate for masks. There was mandatory quarantine for 2 weeks. So it was just it's a long story, but there was just an incident that started there that trailed me all the way to our current time right now, and that was in early 2021. Um, After that, I started really questioning like what value am I getting of care? if I'm
Mhm.
being treated this way when I'm at a PTSD program. I'm being traumatized while I'm here. It didn't really make any sense to me. So, long story short, there was a police report that was put in against me, and it forced me to basically leave uh, the facility. That police report followed me to the next place of care, which was Livermore VA, and these guys gave me they charged me for parking in a handicap spot with handicap plates.
You had plates on your car,
Yes, sir.
and they charged you.
Correct, because there was a VA policy that stated that the VA is allowed to take any spot, handicapped or not, whenever they want, and they had these special signs. Uh, it's great. Well, I don't want to get too much into detail on that part,
Sure, sure.
but I'll be releasing a video tonight around 8
Okay.
o'clock our time. So
And I do have a
you're
ticker down below, and I believe I do have in there your channel. It's A Veterans Affair.
correct.
So for
Right
those
now,
interested.
it's hard to pull my name up because of the goal that I have with that name. I'm trying to inject myself within the actual VA videos so that
Good.
people will see that there's some lies hiding in here.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I put a portion of one of yours out as a short on the Veteran Nation YouTube channel earlier today, uh, and you were absolutely right in what you were doing. And yeah, you had a VA employee trying to tell you that you couldn't. So I
Right.
thought that was very interesting, and I will commend you for being as calm as what you were.
Yeah, that was actually medicated me. So they actually lucked out that day. I took my meds before I showed up.
um, so let's talk about a little bit what was happening at that VA. Because the video I saw, they were denying you treatment without denying you treatment.
Right. So when I was at Palo Alto, they while I was transferring my care over from Palo Alto to the NorCal system, there was a transition. There was bad communication, basically.
Hmm.
So I wasn't able to get my pacemaker checked. So time and time again, after I asked over and over again, can I please have an appointment? They insisted that they only have an appointment on Mondays and Tuesdays. But they don't tell you that these doctors, well, they don't even work for the VA. So they just show up when they're contracted to show up instead of showing up every day like they should
Hmm.
be to provide appointments, and I know there's people out there that don't understand how the VA works because honestly, I don't understand it, but it's pretty messed up.
And you know they benefit and know that they benefit by people not understanding how it works. They make it a very convoluted system so that the bureaucracy can remain in charge.
And that's what I've been able to actually uncover in my whole process of being able to film because of the fact that I'm filming uh, for my own safety, mind you. I have uncovered all kinds of fake policies, and I've uncovered the corruption that is within the system. And this is how you're treated when you speak out. Is basically what I'm trying to show.
I do want to give a quick shout out to one of our fans who is in our comments tonight, Sergeant Gravy, who I will have on the show at some point. And definitely, if you're on YouTube, check out Sergeant Gravy's check out his channel as well. And yeah, we're getting a pretty good amount of veterans who are going into VAs and recording the corruption because it's only going to be the light that ends all of this festering infection cancer of a mold that is in the VA.
Right. And it's crazy because they know that your camera is going to expose the truth, and
Absolutely.
they are doing everything in their power to stop us. Even though that they have their own, I don't want to give it away, but they know better than that, but they don't care.
Oh yeah.
And
What I always used to find, and I've always said there's good people at the VA, There are.
Yes.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
good people. Every VA I've found at least one or two people who are really good and doing what they should do. However, that is not every VA employee, so it becomes incredibly frustrating. And I'm sure you've felt that.
Yes. It's just, I don't know. It's really just really frustrating, and it's come to the point where because I'm recording, the hostility has gotten worse. Because of the fact that I was recording, I have a doctor that put in a false report against me, that has led to that form that I sent you.
Yep.
So, uh,
Now, what was it that this doctor said, if you can, in best words?
and okay, so last year I had spinal surgery to pretty much put me upright, and this doctor decided that by me being allowed to move around, right? So I got permission to actually go out and play sports.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and played airsoft. Now we
Okay.
have replica guns, and I can get the fact that people get scared when they see pictures of guns. But we're veterans. We are guns. So this doctor took it upon herself to create a false narrative, used my personal photos from my Facebook, which I had to shut down because of what she was doing. She used those pictures and said that because of those pictures of me playing paintball, that she didn't feel safe me coming to the building. So that created a whole chain of events that actually took my benefits away, would not allow me to be at the VA without police harassing me or escorting me around. What
Mm-hmm.
you know, this whole time I didn't know that was what was happening, but she cyber stalked me, and then I got bagged and gagged for filming for my safety.
Now, for our audience, I want to make this clear. Was it your primary care doctor?
Yes.
So your primary care manager is cyber stalking you, and
Yes.
then taking stuff that she finds, twisting it, entering it into your medical record to negatively affect your health care.
Correct. And it's in a police report. I have the documents that actually back it up. So it's not something that a crazy veteran's making this up. It's factual, and it's backed on a police report, and they're not doing anything about it.
Now, let me ask you this: have you talked to the VA? Have you talked to anyone? And has anything been done?
I have talked to the VA, specifically the patient advocate.
Okay.
The chief of staff at the VA here is refusing to speak to me. The director has refused to speak to me.
Okay.
Everybody's refusing to speak to me. So probably shouldn't have, but I took it upon myself and contacted the union that protects these people. And they won't even give me an appointment to confront the doctor that did this whole thing to me,
Mm-hmm.
or confront the chief of staff for him going along with the false narrative and taking my benefits away.
Now, have you talked to the IG at all?
I have tried. I've left several voicemails. I've contacted them through email, and they have not responded at all. I had to go through the FBI to file through the correct IG, and then that IG didn't even send a message to the VA IG.
I find that funny because I've been in contact with the VA IG on other things, and for those who don't know, the IG is there to protect against fraud, waste, and abuse. This is clearly abuse. And when I reached out on an abuse case, they told me, we can't handle that. You have to go through patient advocacy. So they can't handle what their job specifically is. What they should have said is, we are understaffed, underfunded, and I would have been very, open to that, because I worked at an IG, so I know they get underfunded, understaffed all the time. But that was not what they told me. They were like, nope, this is not for us. This is for patient advocacy. Now, in my case, patient advocacy never picked up their phone and never called back. What was your experience with patient advocacy?
I had that same exact experience, but things definitely changed when I physically went in there because they couldn't hang up and they couldn't not see me. And that's pretty much when trouble starts, when you actually show up. But yes, you're right. Like, they completely avoided me. Even through secure messaging system, I was still being given the runaround. Uh, I have to say, after the 3 years that I've been playing this game, I have one patient advocate that I can trust. Well,
Nice. At least
that
you
I
have one.
feel I can trust, right? And this person has made it very clear to me that their hands are tied, and that they're only a middleman. And that's the thing that confuses me, is that doctors, the staff, everybody, oh, go to the patient advocate, go to the patient advocate. They can't do anything.
Another group that's understaffed, underfunded, but has, they have this job. They were created
Patient,
because people like the IG were not keeping up with their job. So
yes,
we created a new position. We're paying more people to not do their job. uh, so I find that very, very ironic. I keep interrupting you, and I apologize. I'm doing it for a reason. We have a lot of people who watch our show, who are not veterans, who don't understand, you know, how this system works, and they think that the VA takes care of all these things. And I will tell you that there's very few things that the VA actually will take care of. You have to fight them. You have to go to outside entities just to get them to do their job. So
yeah. It took
this,
me 6 years to get the surgery that I actually needed.
yeah, and I had another veteran who, yeah, over 6 years had the exact same thing. Every time they were ready to take that veteran to surgery, they would say, "Oh, well, let's do these tests," which were the tests that they've done previously. Well, every 3 years, if you're doing the same tests and getting the same result, do the damn surgery. Um, but I digress. So I apologize for interrupting you. Um, have you reached out to your congressman at all?
Yes, I've actually been given a huge runaround with that.
Interesting.
Um,
Who
it,
who
it's
who is the congressman? Because these are the people who are, uh, they are accountable to you, me, to every citizen of the U.S., not just veterans. Who's that
Yes, sir.
congressman?
You have asked a good question. So first, I went to Congresswoman uh, Doris Matsui.
Okay.
Her office told me, we are not an enforcement agency. We can't help you. So they waited and waited for about a year to let my paperwork just fall to the wayside, and wait till the new congressman picked up my area, then threw my case to him, and now I'm being thrown to the wayside. That's Congressman Ami Bera, and this guy's supposed to be a doctor, and he's all about veteran health care, and I can't even get FaceTime. I can't get them to open the door.
Now you and I were both veterans, and we both live in California. Um, California loves its bureaucracy. It loves not doing what it's supposed to. I will absolutely be sending a copy of this show to several congresspeople who are on the Veterans Affairs and Armed Services committees so that they can know what's going on. Uh, but for you, the viewer out there, I would highly encourage you to send this to your congressperson, also to your senators, uh, 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 and to any news organizations or other veteran organizations. Uh, and if you want to reach out to Kahanu's congressperson, I encourage you to do that too, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Um, so, what else have you been battling with the VA? What other type of things have they been doing?
They pretty much put a halt on my all of my care. I just recently got mental health care. I know a lot of people out there think that I'm suffering, but you know what? I am. But I just today was given another therapist after my last one. Literally, sir, I'm not even kidding. This person
Is
called me Saturday evening and quit on me.
Let me ask you this: is this new therapist in community care? And again, for our
Yep,
our people who don't know,
that's the only thing they gave me.
when President Trump was in, he created the Community Care and Mission Act, I believe is what it's called. And for
Yes, sir.
veterans, because the VA system was so clogged, we have the ability to request community care and go see a doctor outside of the VA system. So is this a community care doctor?
Yes. I
Good.
You brought to a good point here. So I'm asking for community care because of the fact that I feel that my safety and that my personal health is in jeopardy whenever I go to the VA facility. But the VA itself does not see it that way, even though I was assaulted by their doctors.
Hmm.
And I've been trying to get community care because, I mean, think about it. If you were assaulted in any type of way, would you want to continually see your aggressor?
Oh, absolutely not. And
Right. So the community care,
re-victimization is something that the VA and the military love to do.
the community care program here, at least, is completely against providing you community care because they try every single avenue that they can with me personally. I can't speak for everybody, but if they do it to me, then they do it to other people.
Oh, absolutely.
They try everything that they possibly can to stop you so they can keep you in the VA so they can make the money.
And our last show that we did live, we had Kevin, the angry vet, on. And I know what I've experienced. I know what you've experienced. I know what he's experienced. And what amazes me is we're different parts of the country. Like, you're like 10 hours from me. Uh, he's, a 5 hour flight. But yet we're seeing the same things. Like, this is a commonality within the VA system.
You're right. I wanted to mention something about the the polar opposites of how they're charging people,
Hmm.
right? For this for filming. Let's
Hmm.
just get into that real quick. I just wanted to mention about the angry vet. So they are charging that guy with several counts of wiretapping, right? I
Yeah.
did the same exact thing and got that stupid warning letter. What
Yeah.
what where are they pulling these charge, like, this is not part of the any type of code. They're just making things up. I just wanted to say that.
No, they absolutely are. And for other veterans out there who are experiencing things, what you don't realize is how much power you have. And I commend you for creating your YouTube channel. I commend you for recording them and documenting, because this is the only way we're going to be able to fight them. This is the only way we're going to ever get anything done. And they're pushing back hard against being recorded because they know this is accountability. They will have to be forced to do their job if we're holding them accountable. So I encourage every single veteran out there to take a camera stand if you have one. Take it into the VA and record everything. And I've had people jump into my
Perfect.
comments and say, "Well, that's a HIPAA violation." It is absolutely not a HIPAA violation. HIPAA goes between the healthcare provider, so the hospital, and the insurance company. That's HIPAA right there. Patients, family members, not covered under HIPAA.
Correct. And
So,
I mean, if I was committing any type of crime, you know that since they aren't going to arrest a doctor for those crimes, they sure as heck aren't going to arrest me.
oh, absolutely. And I'm sure if there was any crime that you were committing, you would have been arrested for that, and or
Oh
at
yeah,
least cited.
yes, sir. I agree 100% because it, in that same video with the lady in blue, a lot of people, they're going to argue the fact that just because they can't see the police officer, that guy was so angry that he could not arrest me that he kicked the chair like a little kid.
Um, I've watched portions of your videos, but again, because I wanted to come in on this fresh, I didn't want to watch all of them. But
I
I
understand.
can't wait to see that one. And every time you post and you let me know, hey, there's a new video, I'm really excited. But I'm like, okay, I can't. Like, I'll watch a little bit of it, but I don't want to watch the whole thing because, again,
Right.
you know, you
You want
never
this
know where some of
organic.
these. Oh yeah, yeah. You want it to be organic, um, but there has to be several mechanisms. Let me ask you this: have you done any, with that primary care manager that was cyber stalking you? Have you done any type of, because every doctor has to be state board certified? Have you done any type of complaint on, you know, that doctor cyber stalking you?
I tried to, well, I have filed a tort,
Okay.
which is through the VA, but I'm pretty sure it's going to get tossed in the trash. Uh, I haven't gone all the way through like to the California board, or I'm not sure what it's called, but I have researched into it and I am considering doing that. But
Well,
I don't know.
if you're okay with it, I would like to make one on your behalf as a journalist because, you know, even if I didn't believe you, to make a complaint like that requires an investigation. So if the VA, whoever, if they're going to deny facts, okay, let's do an investigation and have findings of fact. If you're full of BS, is if that's what their position is, okay, let's have an investigation and you can prove that.
Yeah, I hope so because I. So here's the thing too, right? I believe personally that the VA and its staff thought that I was too stupid to go ahead and round up these police reports and other said documents because now they're all squandering and clamming up.
Oh yeah, yeah. They will now start lawyering up. That's the next thing, and that's why I say to all the veterans out there, you have power. If you start filming, you will turn the tables on them because they're bureaucrats. At the end of the day, the policies and procedures of the VA they have to follow. We don't have to follow them. When they put up that sign that says no cell phones, no recording, does not apply to us. The U.S. Constitution is the only thing that applies to us, and the First Amendment absolutely is our right, and we fought for it.
Right, and your rights don't stop when you step foot on the VA property. You know, it only continues. It should be, how you say, glorified for that fact.
Absolutely, we're not
All
second class citizens.
right. It just makes me want to just choke something, you know. But
So if there's a veteran out there and they're going through the same things and they're struggling, what do you want to say to them?
uh, to be honest with you, don't talk to the patient advocate about it because they're going to use your words against you. Talk to your battle buddy. If you don't have a battle buddy, reach out to Veteran Nation. Reach out to the angry other veterans that are here experiencing the same thing as you are because I felt alone before I was reaching out to social media. I didn't think that anybody had ever come forward, but it turns out that a lot of people have come forward, but they were, how you say, they were gagged. They were put in a cage.
You know, I did
Be
a
safe
short.
about it, honestly.
I did a YouTube short a couple weeks ago, and I told military members, young military members, or people who are going in the military, that if you are ever sexually harassed or sexually assaulted, don't go to your chain of command. Don't do it. I know that they're going to tell you, oh, do this, go to the chaplain. No, you go out in town and you tell your local sheriff or your local police agency, because the VA, just like the DoD, is a rigged system. They try to make it a rigged system, and guess what? It's not rigged on your behalf. It's rigged on theirs. Their first and foremost job is to protect the government. When I worked for 29 Palms over here on the base as a Marine, I saw so many sexual assaults mishandled, and one of the things that I heard all the time was, well, we have to protect the general. You know what protecting the general is? Doing an investigation. And they are doing everything they can when they say that to not do an investigation. So if you're struggling with the VA and it's anything, and that's why I say for this doctor, have you gone against the state licensing board? Because that has nothing to do with the VA. That is completely outside. The VA, all they can do is give letters of recommendation or comments and stuff like that, just as how you and I can. So it's a much level playing field. So if you ever see any type of wrongdoing, videotape it and get it to your state boards. Give it to the Department of Justice if you need to, but just know that the VA is not your friend.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. Definitely, if you definitely feel that something is wrong, you're probably right.
Yeah,
Protect yourself
yeah,
because I didn't intend on like, oh, I'm going to record the cops here. No, that is not what I wanted to do. I was recording my healthcare because of what happened to me previously, and they just do it. They just happen to be on camera doing stupid stuff. I'm just
Now, there's one
I need
thing that you said that I do want to touch base on. You had said that they follow you around. You told me this when we talked earlier this week. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes, sir. So when I say follow me around, like I will. One time, the very first footage video that I posted of the police officer talking with the other veteran that was confused, right? Previous to that, 5 minutes, the guy waved at me and then booked it to his car, and he was coming after me. So they wait for me, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a weirdo. These are facts, and that's why I film. As you'll see, some of you have already saw, but this last video that I posted of the two officers, those are the two guys that are the worst. And those guys will hide in corners, hide out in the stairwell. They'll be down the hall from me, or they'll wait at the ER because they know that I'm coming down to go get x-rays. And it's all because of the false narrative that the doctor that was cyber stalking me created this convoluted idea that I'm a killer. So they have the armed individuals that are actually there follow me around.
And there's a reason I asked you that question, because are you aware that that's harassment?
100%. And I even asked the officer, or you haven't seen the video, but I asked the officer, I said, are you going to stop harassing me? No answer. He just stood there. They know they're harassing me. They don't care. And that's the thing that I told you before, is if you look at the date that they sent me that letter stating that I'm allowed to do what I'm doing, and then look at the date that they did this event where they were following me around, they knew, they've been told, but they don't care.
That's wow.
They just want to make it bad for me. They want to try to create they want to make me angry so that they have something to arrest me on.
100%. They want a reaction out of you. And the fact that in the portions of the videos I've seen, I will say you conduct yourself magnificently. You remain firm but professional. So I commend you on that, and I would encourage anyone to absolutely go to your YouTube channel and watch your videos. And thus far, everything I've seen is essentially a how-to to deal with these people.
I appreciate that, sir. Yeah, there's that's pretty much a learning process. I'm learning as I go, but the thing about it is I've learned the VA's actual policies that actually back me up in what I'm doing, and the VA doesn't even know these policies.
Oh, very true. Very true. Yeah, there's. I've heard some horror stories, but I've also heard some success stories. I've heard some.
Yeah.
The thing about the VA, every place you go, every VA center is different than the other one. You have some where they have great leadership who says, yeah, we're going to take care of these veterans. And then you have some that, they're just there to collect a paycheck. And you have a problem, sounds like a you problem.
Yeah, you said it right there. That we are paychecks. I can't speak for everybody, but that's the way I personally feel. I feel that we're just paychecks. It's not about veterans anymore at the VA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I heard about another a VA that just had another spillage of personal identifiable information. And that's the other thing. I've seen that too many times since I've started doing this show, and I've only been doing this show for 3 years. And yeah, the VA is not protecting our information. They're not protecting our medical records. They're not protecting us.
You're absolutely right. I don't think that the VA should even exist. Honestly, they should provide us care through a different system. You brought it up before that the VA should be the patient advocate.
Yes. 100%. I've done some videos on this. I think the VA needs to get out of the healthcare business, because the federal government, we already have the Department of Health and Human Services. Take every VA hospital, turn it over to DHHS, and tell them, you run these now. Different leadership. Same thing with the GI Bill. turn that over to the Department of Education. We should only go to the VA for eligibility letters and say, hey, can you give me my GI Bill eligibility letter, or tell me how many months of my benefit do I have? Hey, can you get me a referral to this hospital because I live here now? That's the only thing that we should be going to the VA for. So that way, when we do run into problems, we can go back to the VA and be like, they are giving me bad care, and here's what they did. So then the VA becomes the check and the balance to come in and
Correct.
say, why are you treating our veterans this way? Get this guy care. And they would
It's
then be on our side.
Yeah, it makes sense, but then that's where, unfortunately, it falls through. It's because it makes sense.
Well, hopefully we can get more veteran organizations onto changing the system like that, because as I've worked with veteran organizations, a lot want the VA to do more, like take on more things, and I'm like, no, 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 they're doing all the things that they're doing badly. Like push that stuff off onto other parts of government, like VA home loan. I shouldn't like I go to them for a VA eligibility letter. It should just be like that. Hey, I want to buy a home. Give me my letter. Then I take it to a lender. Hey, I'm eligible for this. They're gonna pay the insurance, or they're gonna pay the backing on it, and underwrite it. That's what the VA should absolutely be doing. But yeah, uh, and I don't want to call out any organizations, but the big ones are, they have literal liaisons to Congress. So they sit in these meetings next to the Congress people. So they're buddy buddy with the Congress people. And to be honest, I think a lot of them push bad ideas just because they can see where, oh, this will bring us in more money. Me as a veteran, I'll take less money for better health care.
Yeah, that would work. If I could get that more than just mental health. I'm not saying that mental health is a bad thing, but if that's all they're going to provide us when we're trying to get outside care, then I don't know. It's not worth it to me.
Absolutely. When everyone reaches out to me because of my service dog, and they want to know, well, how'd you get a service dog from the VA? The VA does not do service dogs. They're just now getting into it. I think they should not get into it. Instead, I went through another organization, Custom Canines. You can check them out, customcanines.org. I encourage everyone to. They help a lot of veterans. The VA shouldn't be in the service dog business, but should be in the business of saying, hey, there's these groups out there that give service dogs, and we have a reputation, or we have points of contact with them. The VA couldn't even do that. When I asked the VA, hey, can I get a service dog for this? They were like, oh, yeah, you'll have to find someplace that does it. So they
Yeah.
were no help at all. But that doesn't mean I want to see the VA start doing service dogs, because they'll probably end up screwing that up. And I definitely don't want to see dead dogs at the hospitals. That'll be the next thing that we have. I would
Wow.
much rather them say, hey, we pay money to these organizations, and which I would be completely fine with, if they provide X amount of veterans every year with X amount of dogs. I think that's absolutely how it should be going.
I used to have a service dog. Um, we had to separate each other because my
Oh,
PTSD got a little bit out of control.
yeah, that's people don't understand. I had to go through a period with my dog where you have to see if you can form a bond with the dog, and if you can't, you got to find another dog. Um, so yeah, if you want another dog, I'm happy to help you with getting another dog. But yes, it's just like medication. You have to try it out. I've
Right.
told so many veterans who have PTSD, don't be afraid of the meds. Try them. And I've had people be like, the meds don't work. I'm like, did you try other ones? No, I tried this one. I'm like, okay, well, have them try something else. Work with your doctor. If it's going to get you better, I would try every drug. You know, it's funny because the one that I'm on, they were like, "Do you have a problem with impotence?" And I was like, "Not really that I'm aware of." And they're like, "Well, this one will make you impotent." And I was like, Give it to me. Let's see if that is a side effect. You know, and knock on wood, no issues with that. But
Well,
again, you got to be willing to try it because that side effect might not affect you.
you're right. Uh, I've gone to therapy a lot. I'm still going through therapy. Like I said, medication has definitely helped me. If it wasn't for the medication, then therapy would be kind of useless.
Hmm. Yeah,
But
I think the only problems of ED I ever had was because of my ex-wife, and that was just because, oh, what a turnoff. Who gets turned on being yelled at every day? I don't.
well, uh, there's some sadists out there. I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, those are people who pay for those type of service. Today I don't have TC here to tell me how bad my jokes are. And as you know, as I was talking to you before, I was talking with another veteran who actually commented and commended me on one of my dad jokes, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't even know what you're starting."
Don't encourage the man.
um, I do want to give you some time here as we start wrapping up the show to talk about what you're doing, talk about where people can find you, but also if you have any messages that you would like the world to know about what's been happening. Uh, I'll just
Yeah.
give you the floor.
I do want to say something. Thank you for doing that. To the veterans out there, if you're suffering and you feel that something's wrong at your VA, join us. Join the fight, man. Don't be scared anymore. You have the power. They don't have the power. They think they have the power. We just need to choke it out of them. It's going to be a little while, but you're not alone. We're here. We're all fighting this fight, and we need you.
Absolutely, very well said. Um, so, where all can people reach out, see your videos, if they
Um,
want to help? Uh, reach out to you.
the easiest way that I found my own channel, since I said it's getting stuck in between the Veterans Affairs, you can type in a Veterans Affairs channel, and you'll see my little crayon scribble, red, white, and blue AVA.
No, I'll
But
commend you. Your videos are doing a really good job. You figured out the YouTube algorithm very quickly, whereas it took me a couple years to be like, oh, I everything has to match. My video has to match my hashtags, and the hashtags have to match the title. I was like, okay. I had someone like point that out to me, and I was like,
I'm learning as I
is
go.
is that what it is? And I started making those changes, and I'm like, oh, I just gained 100 followers in 2 months. Okay, that was it. So I still have to go through and re-hashtag all my old stuff. So
Yeah, I'm just the biggest thing that I've done so far to get the message out is uh, actually sharing with people that I meet when I'm outside, when I'm out doing my own thing, and I hear people talking about, oh, veterans or just about the military, and I squeeze my way in there. Hey, did you know that the VA is evil?
that's they definitely don't make it easy to like them. It's like they're just trying to mess with us at every chance. So again, I commend you on the work you're doing. I thank you because you are helping other vets by what you're doing. Your struggle will help others, and it's my hope that the next vet that walks in there with a camera, they don't do that too. But if they do, they'll just have to keep getting slapped down until they learn their lesson.
Pretty much. And you don't need a permission slip to film at the VA. Just keep that in mind.
Oh, absolutely. Anywhere in public or where public employees are working. In fact, the Supreme Court has encouraged people to film government employees in the course of their duties. So,
It's going to be a tough one, but I appreciate you letting me get my story out there.
oh yeah, my pleasure. And again, for everyone, uh, his name is Kahanu, and it's a veteran. Am I still screwing it up?
It's close enough. We got a long time to perfect it.
Kahanu.
Yep. There
Okay.
you go.
And the channel is A Veterans Affair. Go check out his videos. He's got one coming out tonight. And, you know, if you're watching on YouTube, for my channel, make sure you like and subscribe before you go to his
Yes.
channel and like and subscribe. So that way we can break this algorithm of YouTube. Just tear down YouTube just as we tear down the VA. And, oh, yeah, don't forget, hashtag the VA sucks.
I'm gonna start slipping that in every single one.
Oh, it's one that I've been pushing. That and hashtag turn 22 to 0 because we do lose 22 veterans every single day. And a lot of it's because of being jerked around by the VA for our basic healthcare benefits. So,
You know, I know you're trying to wrap things up,
oh,
but
no, no,
you
go ahead.
actually in the video that you haven't seen all the way yet. But as I'm leaving the cardiology department, that I do tell them that, like, because of what you're doing, it causes us to want to kill ourselves. The 22 a day is because of bullshit like that. Just wanted to mention that.
No, thank
It's
you
a
very
small-
much. And in fact, because I've got a commenter here on, I believe he's on YouTube. He just said something that I pushed out something earlier today or earlier this week. Um, if you're having problems with the VA, the White House, it is a branch of the executive branch, part of the executive branch. They do have a hotline. They don't do anything, but we can still flood it. Their hotline number is 855 948 2311. So feel free to call the White House and scream at them and tell them how much they suck.
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
But yeah, thank you again for coming on, telling your story. Definitely keep recording, keep us updated. I will be doing some advocacy on your behalf as a journalist, so I will 100% do any FOIA requests or anything. If you're doing FOIA requests, send me those numbers. I want to FOIA what you're FOIAing because it's harder for them to say no to multiple people. It's easy for them to say no to one person and to redact just about everything. But the more of us who stand together and say, no, we want this information, it's in the public interest, the harder it is for them to say no. So definitely do
Right.
that. I'll be reaching out to your Congress people, and I will also probably be doing a complaint against your doctor's license, simply because we need investigations on this stuff. And you and I both know once they investigate, it is what
Yeah.
it is. The camera doesn't lie.
Roger. And I appreciate you helping me out. That means a lot.
Oh, my pleasure. And again, any other veterans out there, you can reach out to us. For the show, veterannation@protonmail.com. And also remember, we are a nonprofit. We are selling t-shirts, veterannationfoundation.com. You can go there, buy one of our t-shirts. A portion of that comes back to us. I'm already helping veterans in my local area, giving out gift cards and things like that. We want this thing to get bigger. I want to be able to help more people, but I can only do it with your help and your support. So veterannationfoundation.com, go in there. You can also follow us on social media, on Twitter at RealVetNation. We have our Instagram, VetNation Show. And again, thank you for joining us. To everyone, thank you so much for your comments. And please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for being worth serving.
Thank you, everybody.